Russia deployed its trolls to cover up the murder of 298 people on MH17.
Here's a summary of the article.
It was a tragedy that affected many Dutch people in the way Americans had experienced 9/11. Now exhaustive research by two Dutch journalists, Robert van der Noorda and Koen van de Ven, published in the Dutch weekly Der Groene Amsterdammer, shows precisely the way the Russian trolls worked to shift blame for the massacre and create a dense fog of conspiracy theories to obscure the facts. Joost Niemerler, an influential Dutch tweeter, published a book 3 months after the crash claiming Prime Minister Rutte made a secret deal with Kiev to cover up the real truth about MH17. More recently, in a televised debate with Rutte, Thierry Baudet, leader of the right-wing FVD party, questioned the independence of the JIT investigation and suggested that Ukraine was the culprit, shocking the relatives of victims of the MH17 disaster. Another vocal Dutch critic of the JIT is Kees van der Pijl, a former professor at the University of Sussex in the UK who once claimed that Israelis, with the help of Zionists in the US government, blew up the Twin Towers. Van der Pijl, who is highly critical of the JIT investigation for being too hasty and leaving out what he says are important details, presented his book at a conference on the MH17 catastrophe held on May 17 in Moscow and hosted by Viktor Ivanov, a longtime Putin ally and former KGB officer. The Daily Beast's Anna Nemtsova, who attended the conference, noted that Ivanov complimented van der Pijl's book and compared the downing of MH17 to a special operation, aimed to destroy the prosperous cooperation between Russia and the European Union. On May 24, 2018, the day the JIT released a second report on MH17, State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert issued this statement: "Today's announcement confirms and adds detail to what we have said from the earliest days of this tragedy. MH17 was shot down by a Russian-made Buk surface-to-air missile fired from territory in eastern Ukraine controlled by Russia and Russia-led forces. It is time for Russia to cease its lies and account for its role in the shoot-down." As Leiden conspiracy specialist Jelle van Buren told van der Noorda and van de Ven, that Ukrainian fighter jet, no matter how absurd, always pops up again. That is the tricky thing about conspiracies, once they are there, it's hard to get rid of them.
This post received a score of 52,129, with an upvote ratio of 87%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Dutch intelligence agencies have done stellar work regarding Russian misinformation campaigns after MH17. They helped uncover 65,000 misinformation tweets from Russian accounts in the 2 days after the downing of the airliner. The information about the troll farm interfering in the US elections was also uncovered by them as they watched it happen real-time through a hacked webcam. They further were the agency that discovered the violation of the missile treaty by Russia, and they managed to find out that 2 Russian agents entered the Netherlands and attempted to hack the OPCW, which is seated in The Hague.
If you want to see some recent Russian efforts, go check out Bill Browder's tweet replies. He helped bring the Magnitsky Act to countries around the world, which basically freezes Russian oligarchs' assets. He is constantly under fire by Russian propo bots.
If you want to know the full story on Bill Browder, check out his book, Red Notice. You won't be disappointed. The audio book is also very good.
Sergei Magnitsky was a fucking hero. His story is heartbreaking, one man against a corrupt system intent on using him to destroy the people he worked with. Never gave the false testimony the Kremlin wanted, so they murdered him in his jail cell.
Yes. He was a fucking hero.
Don't forget that Donald Trump Jr. met with Russian agents to discuss lifting the Magnitsky Act in exchange for hacked dirt on Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump then lied to cover this event up.
And don't forget the second lawyer, hired to follow up on, after Magnitsky fell off a building near Moscow.
Greater than Gorokov's balcony plunge came days before he was scheduled to present new evidence on Magnitsky's illegal arrest in a Moscow court, and just weeks before an important trial was set to begin in Manhattan. The case, initially filed by the office of Preet Bharara, formerly the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, alleged that high-end New York real estate was bought with some of the $230 million embezzled by Russian officials. Also note that Trump fired Preet Bharara.
Can we not call these people trolls? It undermines their value. They are propagandists.
Agreed 100%. Trolling, to me, has an implied sense of being trivial and mischievous. And this is neither of those things.
Yeah, trolling while annoying and sometimes incredibly stupid as in the end when it's harmless. And #X200B. Propaganda, harassment etc. isn't harmless and shouldn't be lumped together with trolls. These things should be marked for what it is. Just because someone is anonymous doesn't make them a troll.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.